When I did my Lightroom alternatives video, this one, it did really well. I had so many comments saying, check out DxO, check out DxO. So here we are. I'm going to check out DxO. DxO have kindly sent me the software, but as always, all thoughts are my own. And I pose to you a question. If noise reduction is this good, does it really matter if we ramp our ISO or use smaller censored cameras? Because I think some of the results you can get from this are really impressive. Let me show you. You know we mean business when the glasses are coming on. Oh yeah. So into DxO Photo Lab 9 we go. We have the photo library and it looks very similar to Lightroom. And what I do like is you don't have to copy anything anywhere. You can just sort of look through all of your folders and find what you want. And then there's a rating system. So I've already flagged the image that I want to work with. So I'll filter it down to 5 stars. And this is the noisy boy that we're working with today. So I took this image on this day.
I love photography!
When we were caught in a storm and I was at ISO 12,800 all day because it was really, really gloomy and rainy. You might look at this and think there is absolutely no way we can fix this, but you can. Yes, you can. First of all, let's do the noise reduction, which is this one here. And then I'm going to toggle on noise reduction and then you've got a couple of different options and I'm going to go for ultimate quality and extra details because that just seems logical. But I'm going to do a little bit more of the detail work just on the bird because I don't want it everywhere. And then I'll ramp up some of the dead pixels. Now you can see here, and this is what tripped me up when I first started using this software. When you compare it, you can think, you know, it's done an all right job. It's done okay. But I discovered that this sort of view doesn't actually show you exactly what it's doing because it's too processor intense. So what you need to do is go to the loop tool and then we can look at 100% and then compare it. And you can see that it's absolutely kicked the butt of that noise. And if I were to export that now, having done nothing else, you'll see just how good just doing that is. So that's what it's actually done. Cleaned it up incredibly. But on the view screen, it doesn't quite show you that it's done quite that much. So it's just something that you need to bear in mind. Otherwise your computer would grind to a halt because it's doing a lot of processing on this image. And when I first started using this software, I found that I was over noise reductioning and making sort of a more extreme result where I didn't need to take it that far. So sometimes it's worth checking. So the noise in the background is super duper cleaned up, but I think we could do with some more details on the bird. And the way that we do this is go to masking. The AI mask is actually really pretty good. You can sort of hover over things and it'll find it for you. I did that in one click, which is good. But the way that I like to do it, let me just add a new one, is go down to the subject recognition. So you can press subject and it does that for you. Nice and tidy. So now everything that I do will only affect the bird. So the way that I like to tackle noise reduction is make the subject super duper sharp and even go in the opposite direction and make everything else a little bit softer so that your eye's really drawn to the thing that you want to stand out. So in the masking section, we go down here and then we can increase the sharpness and we can force more detail here to taste. And again, we can use the loop and we can have a look at the details and see the before and after. Which is so ridiculous. And then the eye. Now, in terms of using this as just an editing software, there's lots that you can do. So I would like to go into the white balance, which is in the color workspace, and make it a little bit warmer. And you can even add your own LUTs as well. So all of my photo presets are compatible with DxO. You just need to import the cube files. So I'll import Streetwise, and then it's come in at 100%, and no preset looks good at 100% to be honest. So even if we just dial it in a little bit, then we can see that the colours are just a little bit more unified and it's quite nice. One part of this software that I think is very intuitive compared to Lightroom is the HSL sliders. My personal favourite in all editing software, the hue, saturation and luminance, because that's where the magic happens. This is where we can get all of the minute controls over all the colours. So you can choose a specific colour. So let's say we want to get rid of some of the greens in the background here. If we select green, it'll show you where it is, and you can shift the greens more towards the yellow or more towards the green. And you can do that in any software, but I just think visually seeing it on a colour wheel is really nice. So to make the background a little bit more uniform, I'm going to bring the greens towards the yellow. So you can see the greens were in the background pretty heavily, and now it's all more or less one colour. And I'm actually going to go back to the bird mask and just brighten up just the bird. And then what we can do is we can duplicate the mask, so it's the same one, but then what we can do is invert the mask, so it shows everything but the bird. And this way we can just sort of pull down the background slightly, just so your eye is drawn to the bird a little bit more. And in the loop, we'll be able to see that the full processing has tidied that up incredibly. But you've still got all the details in the bird. And look at the difference. That's where we started. And this is where we are. And I think that's pretty impressive, to be perfectly honest. So I think this is a great Lightroom alternative. If you don't want to be paying monthly, you can just pay for this outright. I do think there's some things that Lightroom do better. One thing in particular is the clone tool. You know, they've got like the AI removal tools in Lightroom, and I don't think the DxO one is quite here yet. So for example, in this image, I don't like that different bit of stuff in the background, and you know, it does the job, but you can see a little bit where the line is. So I do think in terms of like more minute edits, Lightroom and Photoshop do better. But in terms of being able to fine tune your noise reduction in particular, I think this is a wonderful piece of software. One thing that annoys me about Lightroom at the moment is it's kind of taken away all of the denoise options. You basically just have a tick box, which is really annoying. I think having a little bit more control over it in this way is really, really cool. So if you'd like to check out DxO Photolab 9, I have links in the description, discount codes, all that good stuff, and go forth and enjoy.